I never believe in undercutting. I never believe, I give you cheaper than you come and buy. I don't like those kind of customers or deals. I feel they're not judging you by your product or your service. They're judging you only by price tag. You're not a price tag. You're not a hooker. It's a service which you bring to the table. That takes lots of patience, perseverance, and believe in yourself and your product.
Yeah.
It doesn't come easy. When you experience life in a totally different viewpoint, you start questioning your own choices, your own being, what your value systems are, what your professional life is, what your future going to be, whom to trust, whom not to trust. That's why the grief is coming to you. It's not that every time you do something and the bad things happen to you. Sometimes you don't do anything and still bad things happen to you. But we always try to blame it on something or the other. But in the end, it is your journey. Whatever way it comes to you, and then how do you convert that journey and each and everything which is coming to you as a life lesson and make it into a positive.
Ladies and gentlemen, Earthlings and Martians, welcome back to another episode of the My First Business podcast, where I find mentors for my business and put them behind a mic. Each conversation is designed for you, my dear listener, and myself to help us improve our businesses and feel a little less lonely on this very turbulent journey. My guest for this conversation is Rajesh Sajnani. Now, what I loved about Rajesh is that even though he's been in business for as long as I have been on earth, he was still so relatable. He's like a 55-year-old teenager. He's just overflowing with youth. And for someone who's a serial entrepreneur, I haven't met a humbler human being who doesn't pretend to be perfect. In fact, sometimes he doesn't even think of himself as an entrepreneur. So who is Rajesh? Rajesh Sajnani is the founder and CEO of the RVS Group, which he started when he was just 19 years old in 1989 in Dubai. And right now, the RVS Group has 4 subsidiaries. The first one, Rajesh Trading Co, which produces high-end designer textiles to the traditional wholesale and textile market. The second one is Fashion Galerie, which distributes and represents 45 plus fashion brands from Europe, UK, US, Australia, and selling to all the major e-commerce players, department stores, multi-brand and specialty stores, you name it. The third one is The Studio, which does private or white labels for many brands in the region and also for e-commerce. The fourth business is their own e-commerce platform, olly.com, that's OLY.com, which is an omni-channel ecosystem of cool, trendy, streetwear, fashion, and lifestyle brands. And if those 4 weren't enough, Rajesh also diversified into the technology space with Cloudhost Technology, a company that is already breaking ground with being recognized as the best innovative cloud service provider in the SME segment for the year 2017 and 2018. In this episode, here are all the topics Rajesh and I explored. Literally jumping off a ship without knowing how to swim, the ecosystem of the fashion industry around the world, making yourself irrelevant in your own business, recognizing gaps in the market and capitalizing on them, competing on value and not on price, launching a brand new brand within 30 days, also launching a brand that competes with his own brand just a year apart, conceptualizing a business from a hospital room, the importance of spending time with yourself, and becoming the world's only fully integrated fashion company, and so much more. Rajesh's journey has been a tough one, with some crucial moments in his personal life that would have destroyed other people, but you'll never see it in his demeanor. He's got this infectious smile, a ton of witty one-liners, and a no bullshit attitude towards entrepreneurship. He went through a separation, COVID, divorce, life transformation, a fitness journey, started 2 new verticals of business, restructured all his old companies for the future, got married again, all in the span of the last 5 years. So I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Without much further ado, here's Rajesh on the EO series of the My First Business podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Entrepreneurs Organization, or EO for short. Since its inception in 1987, EO has evolved into a vibrant global network now boasting 17,000 members across 60 plus countries. Now, just in the UAE, where they've been active since 97, it's especially impressive. They're approaching 150 members, representing an average revenue of $120 million and a combined workforce of 31,000 employees across diverse industries like technology, healthcare, healthcare, logistics, real estate, jewelry, media services, beauty, food and beverage, and I really could go on and on. EO's strength lies in the support and the opportunities it provides. As an entrepreneur, I understand how solitary this path can be, and that's where EO UAE comes in, offering these invaluable resources through its robust calendar of events, workshops, networking opportunities, and a mentorship program that pairs you with seasoned business leaders. So if you're a business owner in search of a supportive community, rich with networking and structured support through accountability groups and mentors, then EO might be just what you need. Curious about EO? Stay tuned for interviews with EO members on this podcast, including today's guests, just so that you can get a sneak peek of what's in store. For more information and to apply, check out the link in the show notes. Rajesh, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Naeem.
Thanks for coming here.
Thanks.
I wanted to start this off by clearly stating something I stated to you outside. So you've been in business 35 years, and I've only been on Earth for 37 years. So I want to apologize in advance and give you fair warning. If my questions, if my conversation is a bit basic or a bit pedestrian, just bear with me like you'd bear with a toddler asking why the sky is blue.
I'm used to that because I have raised 3, and the way I behave, I have been accused of being a teenager, even at this age. So I'll not make you feel out of place.
That's amazing. And seriously, I think you've beat Dr. Sasan in terms of like number of years of the longest standing business. So it'll be a challenge for me, as I said, to cover everything of your career, but I'm going to try my best to time travel with you as much as possible. But before we do some time travel, I want to get something out of the way. I want to check if something is true, something that I've heard from a little birdie. Is it true that at some point you're on a boat or a yacht with some friends, probably some EO friends, and everyone decided to jump off the deck and go swimming in the sea? And you said, sure. And only when you guys arrive in the water, you decide to tell everyone that you can't swim.
Can't swim, yeah. It happened during our retreat, and a forum retreat. And we were it was not a boat or a yacht, it was a ship.
Okay.
So it was almost like 10-story building. And everybody started jumping. And then when they were down and they said, jump. I said, no, I'm okay. No, jump. I said, okay, I jumped. I jumped down. And when I was in the water with them, I said, guys, I don't know how to swim. He said, what the fuck? Like, what and then somehow I managed to go near the lifeguard, and then they sent me up. But it was more of a leap of faith because I was with my close forum buddies, like we were very close. So for me, that aspect didn't come. Like it was a complete trust and everything. I said, whatever is there, these guys are there. They'll take care of me. You don't have to think twice.
Yeah.
And I did it.
Did you get shouted at after for not telling them? That
No, they're just as usual. I'm known to be crazy. They say, yeah, one more thing you did crazy.
That's just another one for Rajesh. Like, marking all the crazy things that you do. That is nuts, man. And now I know that you're breaking personal records in swimming, and you're back to or into swimming now.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm in the path of breaking barriers. It was not there before. I was always in my zone for almost 90% of my life. I was very disciplined from childhood. Responsible, disciplined, doing what is right. And in this, and then when I was about to reach 50, and then I realized you got only one life, and I don't want to be on my deathbed regretting what I didn't do, what I could have, or what I could have tried. And if I die today, I will die a very sad man. And if I go to God and tell me what life you gave me, He said, I gave you brains and I gave you life. It was you to decide, not me. I will decide for you. And that's how my journey on, I would say, breaking barriers or self-exploration started at the age of 50. And after that, I started, like anything which anybody said cannot be done, or my mind said cannot be done, I said, I will try. I never said I will do it or I can do it. I'm still not that confident. But I always say, I'll give it a try. I'll see if I can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's having parents that I've seen go through these kind of ages, the toughest thing to change has been to change
Yeah.
over the course of life when you're bogged down with responsibility, financial or otherwise, and you kind of lose yourself, you lose your interest in yourself, and you
Yeah.
take care of interests of others for
Others,
so
yeah.
long that when you look at your own life, you don't have much to fill it. And I say this for my parents, like one day once they retired, there was nothing to fill the gap. So now the pressure is on to have grandkids.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And they have now like eight,
Eight
of them
Okay.
through my sisters, none of mine yet. But, but in terms of filling time and regrets and all those things, I'm glad that you had a rude awakening. And part of that must have been feeling a little shitty inside too, right? Like when you're waking up at 50, do you want to die today?
Yeah.
It must have felt a little terrible.
I would not say I was feeling shitty. I was
Yeah.
just feeling incomplete. I didn't regret any decisions or choices I made throughout my life.
Mhm.
It was right, true to my ability and my limited thinking, and I did the right thing at that time.
Yeah.
So there was no regret that I could have done better or this could have been like, you cannot look at the past and regret.
Yeah.
Only thing is what you can do today, which can make your future better and what you can look forward to. So there was never regret, even though I made lots of mistakes, I did lots of bad things or whatever I did, but never
Like you
regret.
had to do what you had to do at the time.
Yeah, at that time it was the right thing to do, and that's why you did
Yeah.
it. If you knew it was wrong, you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but with your limited knowledge that time and whatever exposure you had or knowledge or information you had, you made that choice.
Yeah.
So you don't regret your
There's
choice.
no point beating yourself up for
Yeah,
past
exactly.
decisions. And
Yeah. Because life is, people say life is very small. I say life is big enough to make mistakes and correct them.
Mhm.
It's not that small that you just make mistake and go down with it. You always have a chance to correct it and make it better
Yeah.
and learn from your mistakes and make it better. Only thing is, don't repeat your mistakes.
Yeah. At least not 3 times. Maybe
Not
twice.
twice
Is fine.
is the same. Yeah,
3
yeah.
times is too much. That's awesome, man. I think there's a lot to take away as Alina and I, my wife and I, we run business together. As we grow, we kind of look up to ones that have been here before us and look at our future regrets.
Yeah.
You know, what are we going to regret later on, and what can we do about it today? If it doesn't come to mind, then there's no point worrying about it,
Yeah.
right? Like if, as you said, if lack of information is not your fault,
Fault, yeah.
that just happens to be the time. But let's go on to business. So again, I want to mention something that you have said, but you may not have remembered saying this. But so I'm going to tell you what you said, and then you're going to tell me if it's true and if you remember it. So this was 14 years ago.
Okay. You got some birdie on me.
I know. Oh, there's sprinkles throughout this
Oh,
whole
okay.
thing.
Okay.
Little birdies have been tweeting in my ear. Speaking of tweeting, so this was something that you did tweet out. You said at the time, Dubai fashion industry is like a headless tiger. Urgently needs a body for direction and stimulation.
Yeah.
Do you remember saying that?
Yeah, I remember saying that. Yeah.
What did you mean by this? What is it with a headless tiger?
Yeah, because that time we didn't have any kind of structure. I don't think still we have that.
Would you say it's still the same?
Still the same. Like there is no controlling or directional body to guide. Everybody wants Dubai to be on the fashion world map, like Milan, New York, or London. But you need to create the right infrastructure and the right mindset and the right ecosystem to nurture those kind of talents and be patient with them and whatever you need to have. It's very commercial. Like when Dubai Fashion Week was announced, it was a very commercial event. For them, it was just an event. And I used to always tell the organizers, and I was part of it in the first one, said, yeah, this is going to be a game changer for Dubai. But then it became an event. Oh, you get the sponsor, this thing, how much money I make from this event, and it's done. Until the next event happens, nothing was happening for the fashion industry. Like there were no local talents being developed, no buyers being
Organically
provided.
on the grassroots level,
Yeah.
not much is happening.
So which they tried to build it with some fashion club and all. I was briefly part of it, but there was no direct direction to nurture the industry and build the ecosystem and giving that kind of power and this thing. It became very commercial and what I can get out of it instead of what the industry gets out of it.
What's the contrast with places like Milan versus Dubai? Like
There's a
why do
very
you think it
strong-
works for them and not so much
There's a
here?
very strong ecosystem. There's a strong belief in nurturing the talents, giving them that kind of opportunities. Not only financial opportunities like access to the markets, grooming them to have the right infrastructure, giving them that kind of ecosystem that they can learn from each other, and they're able to grow their businesses or learn from their mistakes, and giving them opportunity how they can source and what market they can go to, and bringing the talents together so they can learn from that. There is no uniform authority here, which is there. Like and also the setting the benchmark higher. Benchmark cannot be like, if I can pay $21,000 for the show, that cannot be the benchmark. That
Right.
anybody can pay it.
Yeah.
The benchmark should be, are you fit enough to be in the show?
Yeah.
Is your product or your collection or your creative abilities fit enough to be amongst the rest who have worked, given their sweat and blood to it?
Yeah.
It's all about, you have $21,000, please come do the show.
Yeah. I mean, as you're talking about that, I'm thinking two possible things about it too. One is that I was comparing the music industry outside with you as well, right? It's kind of similar in the States, right? Like music has a different scene versus Dubai, right? There's a lot of homegrown artists. It's part of the culture. There's festivals, there's groups, there's people in the garages jamming, there's fathers passing on to sons, mothers passing on to daughters, and there's over generation, there's like natural development and exposure for that kind of thing. And you don't find that here with music, for example. Is it similar with fashion too? Like there isn't organically happening,
Not happening.
even if there wasn't money for it.
Yeah.
Right? This is one of the things that I don't think everyone does it for the money.
Yeah.
Right? So that could be one thing. And the other thing, I think Dubai is trying to be too much for too small a city.
No.
Right? We want, like, GITEX is like, oh, we're the IT hub of the thing. Then there'll be another thing like, oh, we're the media hub of the Middle East. Then we're the everything of everything.
Yeah.
And some things, I guess, get ignored or lost in the...
No, that is also important because, see, as a city or as a country, we know what are the limitations. I'm a diehard Dubai fan. I lived all my life here. My dad has been here all my life, all his life as well. Some things is being done right because we know the limitations what the region has. Because till few years before, till I think when the real estate investment started and then the golden visa, which is a long-term thing, Dubai always has a transitional population.
Yeah.
People came to go.
Yeah.
People never came to stay.
Yeah.
When I came, my dad came in 1960 and he said, I'll be here only for a few years and go back. And he's still here after 60 years. When I came in, my dad told me, you have to leave anytime because a visa is only 3 years that time.
Yeah.
So it was very transitional and nobody tried to build their roots.
Yes.
Roots are always
Absolutely.
back. Like I'd still meet my friends. I said, Indians in Singapore, Indians in US are Singaporeans or...
Yeah. They
Yes.
say I'm American Indian.
We
They
are still
say-
Indians in Dubai.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't say we are Dubaians or we are from Emirat or anything of that sort. Even though we feel at home, we feel foreigners in India
Yeah.
in terms of our heart. But in terms of the roots, we were never there. And it was for a longer period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And so lots of transitional things happening and then nothing got roots to it.
Yeah.
We started raising our children that, oh, you have to be out of this place. Like there is nothing here.
Yeah.
So I think that we know as a city, that's a drawback.
Mm-hmm.
But what we have is a world-class infrastructure. We have the central positioning. We are in the right place. We have the right people. We have the money coming in. We have a tax-free structure. We building on the strength, basically. And we know what is not there.
Yeah.
It's not there. It will take generations to build that. It cannot be
Absolutely.
done in a decade. So what can be done in a decade, you do that. What happens in generation, it will be built over the period of time.
Absolutely.
Maybe the next generation, when we are in our 90s or 80s, if we live, we will see that kind of things happening here.
Yeah.
Because that will start from, say, last decade and will build on over a couple of more decades. And then you will see that the roots are here.
I'm positive about that because with the new changes to Golden Visa, as you mentioned, and if parents start raising kids, that you're from here and you're going to stay here, and don't need to worry about that. Versus what my dad and your dad said. My dad used to come home from work and joke. And he used to ask my mom, "Hey, are the bags ready?
Yeah.
Are the bags packed?"
Yeah.
And he just joke, so any day we'll be out,
we'll
right?
be out,
like in the Gulf War when that was happening, he was just every day he was asking, "Are the bags packed?" Because we'll have to go.
Yeah.
And I think the new generation. So when I came here. I came here 6 years ago with my wife after spending 13 years in Canada. I was sad about the lack of culture because there's no homogenous
Nothing.
culture here, right? So this gives spawn to creative industries like yours and others. And in about a year or two, I stopped crying about it because I said, no, as you said, I'm very positive on so many other things that you have to give up some of those things. And maybe they will come later. But the pros can always like balance out the cons anywhere you go. So we get a higher quality of life here, safety and security,
you see the glass, as they say, half full or half empty.
Yeah. I came with half empty and I started filling it or just with my mind being like, this is half full. But I have friends that come here and visit here and they talk about the same things. And I have to explain to them, like, I know we don't have a culture, but look at all the things we do have.
All the things we do have,
And it's your choice. And this is the attitude, right? If you don't like it, don't be here.
Yeah.
That's as simple as that. If you like it somewhere else, please be somewhere else. You know, well, that's totally fine. So
that's why they say, the departure lounge is bigger than the arrival lounge.
Is it?
Yeah. You're more welcome to go than to come in.
No, I think we want to spend as much time here as possible of our lives, just to be part of what's happening. Put our little 2 cents, make the place a little better, because we grew up here too, and we feel like it's home. No matter what anyone tells us, we feel like it's home. But you're saying that the fashion industry still has some time to go to arrive at that situation. So that was macro level. I'm going to dive in micro right now. I want to know, and let's come back to the present. So that was 14 years ago. Present. What's keeping you up at night these days? So we're going to talk about challenges in the past and how you overcame them, any mistakes, but it's always more fun to talk about something that you're tackling right now. It's kind of like an overhead camera looking at a chef while he's cooking. So if you are going through something right now in your business, that is a problem that you're solving, maybe you're hopeful, maybe you're not. But at the same time, if it's confidential, you don't have to share it. That's totally fine too. But I'd like to see a taste of your problem solving abilities. Is there something that's keeping you up at night? Any challenge you're solving?
One thing which is keeping me up in the night now, I got married last month.
Congratulations.
So that's one thing. I'm newly married, so that keeps me awake in the night. But apart from that, in terms of business, lots of things. I think with that, I just take a few years down. When I told you when I was breaking barriers and all that, at the age of around 49, I had almost given up on. I've been always, all my life, been very creative and expanding business, diversifying and doing businesses and everything. Almost 49, 50, I thought like this is the end of it. There's nothing much. I was waiting for my sunset years. And I thought in a few years' time, okay, I give it to my kids and everything. I'll just, whatever I am built, I'll just sit on it. And as life, they say, is the biggest lesson and the teacher of your life. And then I got my lessons. I got my teacher with the stick on my bum. And then I learned many things. And one thing I realized is there is never a sunset year for any life. Your sunrise is every day, like sunrises, and you can make it happen. Either you wait for the sunset to happen or you wait for the sunrise to happen. So I prefer to look at the sunrise every day. And then I said, I have lots in me to give and also to take from this life. And that's how I started reviewing my business with a helicopter view. And then I started, before looking very closely and being emotionally attached to businesses, I started looking at this thing like I have created what I felt is businesses for me, which is not about the ways of making money. It used to be because my kids were growing up and I wanted them to have a secure education. That's what I promised them. Like, your education is my guarantee. Your future is not. That you will make. So I was doing that, and my kids have grown up and I'm almost there. Like the last one is going to be out to uni. So I said the businesses are now for my employees. People who have been with me for most of their life, their livelihood depends on me. They may get another job. But for me, I always looked at my business as a source, some power gives to you to have that power to change people's life for better. In some way you change, and how many lives are connected to your business, to your decisions. Like your employees, your suppliers, family, your buyers, which are B2B, so their families, because so for me, it was always an added responsibility. Like people ask me, like, why you're so connected to your business? What makes you get up? I said, I'm doing 35 years. I don't think any single day I've missed office, or I don't feel like going it. I always go, and I don't love money. So why would I go to business? For me, it is a sense of responsibility that if I don't take right decisions, somebody will lose their livelihood. They may get another one, but that will be my reason. So I have to make sure I do the right things. So then I started looking at business that channels of opportunity to change people's life, and then how I can expand or make it more risk prone so that continuity is maintained. So I'm a founder of all the businesses. So I didn't want it to end with me. That will not be doing justice to what I have created, and it will not be doing justice to people's life who they've created. Okay, boss is gone, business is gone, let's find something else.
Yeah.
So then I started legally restructuring my business. So I was the biggest risk to my business. I removed myself from the businesses, created the company structure in such a way. And then I started, which was already there, and started looking at a business where it can be a long term and it could survive me and my inputs in the business.
Can I dig into that? So does this mean, and pardon my ignorance about these things, but does that mean having a holding company that holds the other companies?
Yeah. So I created an AGGM company now, which holds all the businesses.
Okay.
And eventually,
and you have shares in the
holding company.
In the holding company, but not on the individual
company. And all my companies, my team leaders are people who are right and fit for the job, and I'm grooming and training them to be the future CEOs, so that they can
of each business
for each businesses, so that they can take care of it, and then they become my custodians for their team. And that is the plan. And then I said, okay, if I do that, and that process has started already, then again I thought, I'll become irrelevant again. What will I do for my next average 20 years of my life? If I can live, I'm 55 next week. So say 15 years of my life, because my benchmark was 70.
Okay.
So then I started working on something which is a business which I can do for the future, which is future ready. I already converted my business to be future ready. All my traditional businesses are now future ready, and we tested them in COVID. They were all doing good and they were all growing, except textile, which is in the process of being changed. So I knew my businesses are all future ready, but how will I make myself relevant? Because I didn't want it to rock the boat of the existing ones, because they are legacy business. They have been doing it. Whatever changes they will do. So then I thought of a new concept, which is...
Wait, before we get to the new concept, I just want to wrap up that previous part because it's interesting to me. I've been told by a previous mentor that your job is to make your own job irrelevant every time I got to a very senior position. So I hit like VP level when I was 27, still working corporate jobs. And my only job was to make myself unuseful, or let the team do the work, let the systems do the work, let the processes kind of do the work. And Alina and I have been in business for 4 years now. And one of our goals every year is, can this agency run without us? If I were to F off for 6 weeks, will shit break loose, or will it survive? And we've been failing that test every year. We cannot detach ourselves from it without risking it too much. Have there been times in your career where you've been able to step away for long periods of time and let it kind of run itself? So you had like good success with that to be able to come to today and be like, you know what, you don't need me.
I was forced into that because I was the founder and the creator, and I was involved in everything. All my life, I used to think my business will not survive without me for more than 24 hours. I used to travel. I was to travel continuously, but never used to travel more than 4 days. To come back, my bag was always ready. So I come back, stay for 1-2 days, see everything is good, and again travel back. One thing I was forced into when my son was going into treatment, and I have to go to US for a longer period of time for his treatment. I had no other choice. I had to leave within 2 months. That time I just left. And I thought, like, whatever will happen to business, I will see. But for me, the priority is to save my child. And I went to US and all. And I used to follow them initially on camera and talk to them on Skype and all that. which initially was more regular, and then slowly, and then I just gave it. I said, what can I do to allow us difference? And nothing. And I was not in that state of mind as well. When I came back and all, everything was fine. And my staff told me, no, we are more better off without you. Like, we can manage.
Yeah.
Which, my key guy left because he became my competitor. There were few ups and downs, but I said, I survived. My business survived. And those who could take care of it are able to take care of it more further. And I can be irrelevant.
Yeah.
And I should not be so attached to those businesses. And then around few years later, I did my degree with Harvard. I went for OPM. And the first thing they said, like, how do you, the entire course, they didn't tell me that, but entire course was, how do you look at your own business from a elevated view, from the helicopter view. And then from then onwards, like 2015 onwards, I started delegating. For me, that job, it's an 8 years journey for me. And
it's not an overnight thing where you like,
no,
from today onwards, I'm not going to be
because you have
active.
to make sure they are the right people at the right time. You groom them, you let them make mistake. They all fall back on you.
Yeah.
It's always a push and pull all the time.
Yeah.
But so that's a process, and that should be done because you have to value your value of your time for yourself, for your own personal journey, as well as for your professional, and at the same time giving opportunity to others to grow. But another thing which happened, which I didn't realize it, and I became so irrelevant that I started having problems. That am I useless?
Now you're in the way.
Yeah. Now I'm totally useless. I don't have anything to do. I just sit in my office and do nothing. Until now it was like that. And then I said, what the shit has just happened? Like, I don't know anything what is happening in my business. I don't want to know. I don't want to sit and see operationally what is happening, which shipment coming, which shipment going, what are the new products. And I used to design my fabric. I lost interest in that. We were delegated. And that became another problem to have, and which was still there. And that's when I said, like, no, I cannot be like this.
Yeah.
So that was the new business or anything where I want to be operationally involved. I don't want to go back into the same thing which I left.
Yeah.
It's like going back to your girlfriend. That I'm sorry, I left you.
Yeah, going back to your ex.
Ex,
like,
yeah.
So I didn't I wanted to, but now I'm
so
back.
I didn't want to do that. So I got my new one. So I said, okay, now I'll romance with you, but I'll leave them there.
Tell me about this new one. But wait, can I guess what it is? Will you think I'll be able to guess?
Yeah, sure.
Because I tried looking it up. I looked up the name. There's nothing there.
Guess.
Okay, let me try a few questions. Is it an industry that you've done before?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Oh. So it's fashion related?
Yeah.
Okay. It's B2C?
Yeah.
Okay. I've run out of ideas. You have to tell me now. You have to set it up. What is #8? Is that what you're calling it?
Yeah, we call it #8.
Yeah.
And I'm still into two verticals. Basically, we have technology vertical, which is cloud services, and the fashion. But fashion is my passion, which is a very cliched word, but I don't know, somehow it applies to me.
I don't have anyone in my life that I know is in the fashion industry. So
Oh, really?
for me, like, this conversation is completely brand new because I've never studied the fashion industry, met people from it, and it's kind of like a very gray zone for me. So
Yeah, exactly. And that is surprising. Like,
Yeah.
I would say fashion or the apparel is one of the top 5 industries in the world in terms of volumes and people employed. Like, even when I go to Harvard, like, they have 172 CEOs from different countries. Not one of them in fashion. I'm the only one.
Yeah.
And which is strange.
Strange, right?
But maybe it's not been given that kind of a respect or whatever it is. But like the people from real estate, construction, oil and gas, so many things, and tech, they come in.
Exactly.
Fashion, because it's considered maybe a very simple subject, or
I don't know. It's one of the oldest industries in the
oldest
world.
industry in the world. I have a tagline for that.
Yeah.
When I still do textile business.
Yeah.
I said the oldest profession, second most oldest profession in the world is textiles.
I know the first
one. Yeah. First one has been digitized. Second is still not. Second one is still not digitized, and I failed twice doing that. I'm going to try again this year.
All right.
To digitize that business.
Okay.
And I think this time I'll succeed because I know people are ready now.
Are you ready to share the concept?
Yeah, it's that textile is a different thing. Which the concept of that is like basically because in the over of last 20-30 years, what I have created I think the world's only fully integrated fashion business.
Yeah.
So that way we have all the verticals of fashion. So, and the textile is the only one which is still traditional. which was 100 years back, is still the same. You bring the samples, show to the customers, they buy, you inventory, stock, you sell on credit, you receive the money. It's an old chain. There's no brainer and nothing new about it.
And there's a few players in the market only.
No, there are lots of players in the market because there's no barriers to entry. It's unlimited market, unlimited products, no brain. You don't know anything in the world, start a textile business.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're good for nothing, start textiles.
Start
That
textile,
used to be the saying.
Yeah.
That's why none of the younger generation is in the textile business.
Yeah.
I didn't wanted my son 28 years back to join my textile business. So I knew that time it is not going to be relevant for him. That's how I started diversifying into fashion. So that when my son becomes 20, I have something to tell him. This is what it is.
Yeah.
But I will not tell him to go to textiles.
Right.
And which was true.
Yeah.
So I predicted 28. He's 28 now.
Yeah.
When he was born, I never thought he will join textile business.
Right.
So now what I am planning to do is to digitize that business, make it more B2C. And then since we have a production and the tailoring unit also in our company, so how do we create a customer journey, mostly with the designers and the individual customers, where you can design your own outfits, you select the fabric,
even if it's one piece,
even if it is one piece or if it is bulk, everything. But it's all about customer experience and how do we transform it digitally as well as offline so that it becomes an integrated experience. And that has never been attempted before. Bits and parts have been done, but not as a unified entity.
Like on one platform.
On one platform.
So you have multiple parties here, like that can be considered a customer. One is the person that will wear the thing at the end, but even the designer is
a
customer
designer,
of yours.
if you are a boutique or if you are a store, you don't want one piece, you want to do 100 piece, you can just click. Everything will be digitized, everything will be that experience becomes that. So that's a concept which I'm working on. I have a meeting after this with the person who was one of the person who said, I am excited about it, want to do it with you.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. And if it is not that tech enabled, I'll not do it. It has to be something which changes people's life.
Right.
Make life easier. And especially for people who don't get ready-made sizes. And especially don't like their...
That's my life.
Or people who are not little bit, those who want to wear something which is not being worn by everybody else. You don't want to wear a Zara shirt, everybody has it. You want to have your own signature on it, or you want to have especially with the women.
Yeah.
And so for them, it's and at the prices which they can afford.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's another one-liner which I have. The most perishable commodity on earth today is fashion. Milk lasts for 7 days now.
Yeah.
Fashion lasts 2 hours.
Yeah. It's true.
You wear one dress and you cannot repeat it again because your picture is on social media and everywhere and you don't want to repeat it. Yeah. So once it becomes so perishable, so the prices have to come down so that you can afford multiple.
Right.
Before they used to spend 25,000, 30,000 dirham on a dress.
Yeah.
Now you want cheaper so that you can wear it more often and you can wear different.
Right.
So that's why I see a lots of need for the people to dress differently.
Yeah.
At the same time in your measurements and to be creative about it.
Yeah.
But there is no such platform. Platform is there. You take a taxi, go to Dubai, go to a tailoring shop, go to this, go for first trial, second trial, come back. There's
and
a way.
Pictures back and forth on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And
so once you can do it. So that's one idea about the textile. But that's not will keep me busy because that I want to just delegate and give my vision to it.
Yeah.
Because I have come out of the implementation phase of my life. Of the execution. I need executors. I'm more on the idea and the strategy.
Yeah.
That's what I want to involve myself with. So #8 idea came in when I saw that gap in the market where because we produce for lots of brands and designers. White label and the private label as well. And there are lots of good brands which are singularly owned by a designer or a person and they build a good idea. They have a good creative ideas. They build to a certain level, but they don't know the ABC of the rest of things, or they don't know how to scale it up further. And how do you streamline your manufacturing? How do you streamline your marketing? Or how do you be more efficient in sourcing and everything? So the idea about #8 is a brand incubator business where we will incubate brands and help them scale up to a good level, keeping the owner or the founder intact, having the equity in the business, where he or she owns the business.
Yeah.
We'll be just a facilitator, an incubator, and help them grow. And why #8? Because we want to take only 8 brands at a time, so that we can do justice to this. The business is not that, I would say, exclusive or something that have never been attempted before. I think it's the execution.
Yeah.
And how you
It's
laser
a
focus
reorganization of what's already happening. But more efficiently.
Yeah. And more razor focused, focusing only on one segment, focusing on one community or ecosystem.
Yeah.
So that you help that scale them.
What does it take for someone to qualify to be one of those 8?
We are still not being very, we want to make it very clear, and everything will be on a website, and so that everything is done very black and white, so that there is no ambiguity with anybody to come in.
Yeah.
But I would say if you have gone from 0 to 10, and then you are able to manage that, and your product is fit enough to take from 10 to 500,
right,
that will qualify.
Right.
But you should be able to take it to 10.
Right.
And it should have that ability to scale further.
Yeah.
And you should be in that state of mind, yeah, I want to scale it.
Right.
It is not your part-time thing, or it's not
like
something
you want to quit everything and go into this full-time.
Go into that.
Because most of these businesses are started as a side hobby.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're on the
they
side.
start as a side till you're married, or till you don't have anything else, and then becomes this thing.
Yeah.
So, and that also we find a lot.
Yeah.
And lots of business, they are started with impractical pricing, impractical production, finishing is not right, and they do it, and then they don't do it.
Yeah.
And this thing. So we want people who are focused, they know what they are doing, or they have that kind of a vision.
Yeah.
And then we'll take, and they have the product, and they have that idea which is going to be scalable. So that's what we will do it.
Right.
And it's not going to be limited to Middle East.
Yeah.
Initially we thought we'll make it Middle East based. But yeah, for our first focus will be on Middle East. But yeah, if there is some talent out there in any other part of the world, we can bring them in.
Facilitate that.
So
you said you thought of this idea because you saw a gap in the market. I want to explore that piece a little bit more, because there's one thing that your intuition tells you, right? Because you've been in the business long enough that if you see a gap, you just know yourself it's a gap that should be filled. But have you validated this any other way? Or are you going based on a hunch? Like, are you a numbers kind of guy, or you go mostly on hunches?
I'm not at all a numbers. Most of the people who know me, they don't call me a businessman. You just happen to be lucky. I said, okay, thank you very much. I've been lucky for 35 years.
As a compliment.
Yeah. So I'm not a numbers guy. Yeah. But yeah, numbers are important, but it's all in my head. Now I'm trying to structure, because now I have to give away most of my intuitions on paper. I'm putting that numbers thing and processes in place so that everything is very clear.
Yeah.
But I have been always on hunch, and which I feel is a gap. And why I feel there's a gap, because I have businesses which are operational for so many years. So I have production which is there. I have e-commerce business. We have distribution business. We have a textile business. So we know what are the pain points, what are the common pain points, of where the gap in the market is in all these 4-5 verticals.
Yeah.
And that's where we see there is what is. And when we meet people, those who come to us, see today C Fashion, one of my fashion vertical, the fashion vertical, we call it ourselves as a fashion solution company. We're no longer a fashion company or a trading company. We solve fashion solutions. So you come to me with any problem, I'll give you the solution. If I don't have, I'll make sure you will get it.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I'll suggest you what is the source of solution. So when you work your business with a mindset of problem solving, you only look at where I can add value to the consumer, where I'm adding value. So all my customers, which I have built it over the period of the last 35 years, is how do I add value to? Why would they come to me again and again?
Yeah.
If I just sell a product, they can buy from 1,000 more people.
Yeah.
How I add value to you, how I build that relationship, and I make sure that I don't leave anything on the table. I still get my margins.
But you want to execute that value too, or do you want to just show them the right direction?
Both. Where I don't have that value proposition myself, I'll show you the door.
Okay.
I don't have this, please go here. And this is the person who will help you out.
Yes.
Where I have the value proposition, I have this. You can check if there is any alternative which
Either
is
way, you should win. The customer should win.
So that's why when we do the private label, we don't ask anybody minimum MOQs, even though we lose money on that. But for me, and I have seen many of the brands which they started with me, they started with 5 pieces. And she said, I just want to start my brand. And we said, yeah, no problem. He said, are you sure? Yeah, no problem. We'll do it for you. And today she's producing 300 pieces per style.
Wow.
Our production minimum order is 1,000 pieces.
Wow.
And within a period of 3 years. So we became that facilitator, and that's what my winning thing is.
Yeah.
I'd never check the prices because that's my team and managers are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how much business you're generating from her. Are you able to sell a problem? And is she coming back to us again and again and all?
Mm-hmm.
I just check which is the customer which is not coming back.
Yeah.
And why they're not coming back.
Well, that's important. Like, if your customer is successful in the market, let's talk about the B2Bs. If they're successful in the market, their success is your success.
Exactly.
Right. So it makes sense to just focus on their success. Because
exactly. And that's what I have done. So when I told you about like 99, when I created a brand, the first silk brand in the world, I would say. And the idea came with that. Idea came with a very, I would say, thought about the silk as a product.
Mm-hmm.
I'm known as a silk guy. Like my business is only pure silks. And many people nickname me Silk King as well. I don't believe in that. But so I'm very passionate about silk, and I'm emotionally attached to silk because that business I know. I know the fabric. I know the product. It's natural. It's good. It makes you feel good. It's a good product.
Yeah.
And during that time, I was seeing silk being used as a product because polyesters were coming in and people were not respecting silk for what it is. And they were replacing silk with polyesters with silk. There was no product identification in the market. In fact, the poor women who were going to the stores, they were selling her polyester, saying it is silk because the feel used to be the same.
Yeah.
It's still being done.
My mom always used to check and make sure she
you have to just
had
burn it and know, because I know how you identify silk. It should smell it. Because silk is a natural fabric. Polyester will not smell. It will crinkle down. So to give respect to silk, the idea came from there. So I want to give a respect to the silk. The only way you respect it, you brand it.
Yeah.
So when I brand it, now how do I sell to my customer? So I made sure you get a confirmed margin.
Yeah.
I will make sure customer comes to you. I will do the product. I will give the catalogs, shoots and everything around it. I'll create the brand around it. And I make sure customer come to you. And you will be the only one in the city who will be selling this. So that gives respect to the product. It gives respect to you. So you capture the maximum value. My value was that customer became hooked to me.
Yes.
That was my value. I just wanted to sell.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to sell to the same person.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted him to come back to me every month to buy. That was my winning combination. Mm-hmm. How much he buys and how much he sells doesn't matter. I got a hook.
Yeah.
And I made that brand and I appointed 19 distributors in 19 cities in Middle East. Mm-hmm. And everybody jumped at it because I guaranteed them profit. I gave them everything together with it. Mm. And the best retailer in each city. And then after a few months, I came to know the second best started angry with me. Like, why you didn't give me this? You don't consider me as a good customer? And they started getting upset. Then I said, now what to do? I cannot give them because I'm exclusive with them and I don't want to spoil the brand. Then I created a Coke. So that was my Pepsi. I created a Coke. I created one more brand in 2000 and I gave to the second best. Because there was no gap, because people were copying my designs. People were buying my catalogs from the market and trying to copy the same thing. I said, before somebody else.
That's great validation, when people copy your own stuff.
Yeah. No, that validation I got from beginning because I'm known for designs and everything. My product, because as I was always focused on customer. So my customer value proposition, if I give them a good design with good colors, he will definitely sell it. If he sells it, he'll come back to me. So I was focusing only on my designs. Yeah. I was not focusing on sales. I was not focusing on anything else. Yeah. How do I make my product so good that he's able to sell it and he'll come back to me? Yeah. And that's what used to happen. They used to beg me, like, please give me. Yeah. So that was I knew that about product sales. So I made the second best and then made them exclusive so that there was no entry to the third one. Market was fit enough for two. And they both were happy because they don't want to cannibalize the market, and Silk got the respect. Yeah. Silk was differentiated. The people, when the local ladies were going, they were asking Reviva, do you have Saswa? If you don't have, means it is not silk.
You associate the brand with...
Associate the brand with the quality and with the respect to the product, which is a silk. Yeah. It was not about me. Nobody knew it came from me.
In a space of a year and a half, 2 years, you created two bands to compete with each
other.
But you win either way.
Win either way. And then you plug the market for people who wants to spoil it. Yeah. Means I was never a price guy. Like if I'm in a market where there are 2,000 wholesalers in textiles. And people used to come to me, oh, you're selling it for say 10 dirhams, so somebody is giving me 9. I said, good, you told me he's selling 9. My price is 11 now. Because I have to be 20% different than others. And I don't want to compete in the price because there is the only downward spiral if you start competing.
Yeah.
I wanted to
It's a
compete
race
on
to the
value.
bottom.
Like if somebody can give you a better product than me at this price, then go and buy. I'll respect that person. But don't come to me with the pricing. So always that value proposition and standing your ground, that I want to give value to the customer. That has been my guiding principle. And that's what continued with my other businesses, even a cloud business or a distribution business or e-commerce. Wherever we can do, how can we solve these problems and how can give value to the customers?
Yeah, I think that's, but when I read you said, and that it was the world's first fully integrated fashion company, something resonated with me in that kind of behavior or model of doing business, because tying it into our story a bit. So Alina and I are working on a configuration of services. So we are a service business. We provide a very niche kind of marketing. So we only do, let's say, advertising for retail or service-based businesses, right? And we looked at our churn, like which are the customers we lose and the reason that we lose. And it was 90% of the time nothing that we could have done. Right. So there was some element within their own ecosystem of sales and marketing that something was off. So a silly reason why customers leaves us, we get them tons of leads, generate a lot of interest, but their sales team doesn't close. Not able to convert. They're hiring people that are not fit for sales to do the sales, or front desk staff to do the sales while he or she is doing 10 other things. So that's an example. There's other factors in the ecosystem where you can lose a sale, or let's say a dental office or something like that, right? The journey for the customer is quite big, and we are plugging only one piece. We started looking at what should we do for our customer, because if they're successful, we'll be successful. They'll continue our retainers. We work on a retainer model. Right now, we're on a drawing board, and the reason I asked you about hunch or numbers, we're also both very hunchy people, and we're coming up with this kind of model, which is kind of integrated from the time your customer doesn't know about you till you earn the money in the bank. So it's not just a marketing campaign, it's a revenue campaign that you do. And we're building this holistic kind of funnel that we don't see a lot of companies are doing right now. Because marketers are marketers, salespeople are salespeople. Alina and I are a combo. I've been a sales guy for 20 years now. 2 decades of sales experience. She's been a marketer for 20 years now. We're trying to combine that. But what I wanted to ask you, when we do this on a hunch, what for you, let's forget the validation, but do you give yourself like a test period to see if your concept is working, or do you kind of go all into a new idea, or do you build incrementally? Like this integrated fashion solution probably came like levels, or was it like one vision at the start which you were going?
No, it never comes all in, but yeah, vision was each step at a time. Like what was the missing block?
Okay.
So when I was in textiles, I saw the front end I was selling to designers and everything, and then I realized, oh, there is lots of value add we can do for the customers. I was the first one in 2006 when I started Fashion Galerie. I brought down the industry prices of evening dresses made to measure by a Lebanese designer from 12,000 dirhams to 6,000 dirhams in the market.
Without compromising.
And imagine at that time, I used to deal with all royal families and big families of Dubai, all Emiratis and locals. And they used to come and tell me, I was never a designer, I was always on the back end. Whenever they know I'm the owner, we love your prices. We love what you do. No customer in the world will tell you we love your prices. If you are in retail, they always tell you you're expensive. I used to get because they were paying the same thing for 12,000 dirhams.
Yeah.
That was the minimum. I bought it. My other designers, they used to call me, are you stupid? What you're doing? You're killing the market. I said, no, I'm making enough money. 6,000 is a decent price to charge. I don't have to charge the customer based on how much he can pay. I will charge according how much it's costing me and how much I can add margin and I can sell.
And live a good life.
And live a good life and let customer have a good life. We are not, what do you call, like we shoot you according to your, this thing. We are not ransom.
Yeah.
So I changed that thing. So you see the need And then you build. And from there, okay, I have to build my production house because I cannot outsource it because then your design ideas and everything gets leaked. So then I build my production. So when I did the production, then I said, okay, I'll build the brand because brand sells. I built the quickest brand in the world. Like from the
Tell me
ideation
about
stage.
that.
Yeah, that was I think in 2017, 16, 17.
Yeah.
I was doing couture and evening dresses and high-end evening dresses. And I felt like, no, there is no affordable couture. Like there's no affordable luxury. Everything was either expensive. I brought down the prices, but still 6,000 was luxury for many people. Then I created an affordable couture brand. And then I said, this is a gap in the market and the price has to be 300
Per piece.
per piece. And
Dirhams.
the look and feel should be similar. Dirhams, yeah. From 6,000
What?
dirhams to 300. That will be the offer because people want to buy because that time social media was coming in. And that's why I understand fashion is becoming perishable.
Yeah.
A lady buying a 6,000 dirham gown, she cannot wear it in one party and throw it next time because that will be a criminal wastage of money for her.
Yeah.
Why don't I give her for something for 300 dirhams? She can wear it and throw it off. Wore it once. And then I built the brand from the ideation stage. I was in Paris and that time I was thinking the brand. I was in the show for the textiles. In the bus ride, I was discussing with a friend. We called it 5th season London because there are 4 seasons. I said this has to be without any season because it's a party wear. They are not seasonal. I mean, you can wear an off-shoulder dress even in winters.
Yeah.
Because that's a party
It's
dress.
a party, yeah.
There's no seasonal to it. There's no
Yeah.
summer or winter. So I thought it will be 5th season.
Mm.
We called it London because that time I had a London company. I said London, I'll register under my London company name. I just made it because I wanted to be having a showroom in UK that time.
Yeah.
So from that stage, I sent my designer to China. We hired a factory. My designer sat there for 25 days, 15 days. We signed up a show in Hong Kong. And then after 15 days in Paris Fashion Week. And then one in London, pure London. Within a span of 2 months. So from inception to the first show, it was 25, 30 days. We built the website the day the show was going to open. And
That's quick.
That was quick. And we did it. And still that brand is active.
Yeah.
My only problem was because I was doing too many things and there were so many to say, I couldn't pursue it much deeper in terms of execution. But as I said, I'm an ideation guy. I can create ideas. For execution, I lose interest. Okay, this thing is done. What next?
Yeah.
So execution, it took a break and then other businesses came in and then the COVID happened. But the brand still exists. Now we are still selling the same brand.
Yeah.
With the same concept, affordable luxury. But we sell different collection and we do it. Now the product has become common. Like everybody has 300-400 dirhams. But in those days, it was not there.
You know, I think you'll really love talking to Alina as well. So between the two of us, she's definitely the idea girl. She is. So the way I've talked about her on the show a bunch of times is she's a 0 to 1 person and I'm a 1 to N person.
Yeah.
I never have original ideas. It's just not my thing. I don't know where they are. I've never found them. Maybe I need to find different spectacles.
Somebody gives you the idea, you sell it.
Yeah, exactly. That's my job. You know, you make the thing, and I'll find out how to like make it. Even operationally, I'm a nerd of how implementation and execution and operation and standards and systems work. So we started this business 4 years ago, the agency business, but we got married 8-9 years ago. And our first trial at working together on a business together was actually another one of her ideas, and it was fashion related. So she had this similar idea, what you were saying about like the disposability of fashion. We were living in Canada at the time, and there's a lot of desi weddings happening.
Yeah.
And girls there were not able to source efficiently wedding gowns and stuff like that, especially South Asian style. So they used to travel all the way to India or Pakistan, get the stuff made and then come and then sizes, this and that. It was a complete nightmare. Only to wear it once.
Once, yeah.
Because there's no way in hell will they be seen a picture with that dress,
dress
in someone else's wedding. So she had this idea. She's like, you know what? All my friends have a storage room full of desi dresses. Why don't we go pick them up from them? I'm like, one level above, why don't we go buy it from them? So we started Facebook messaging all her friends. Like, I know you have desi dresses. You're never going to wear them again. We'll come see. And for the ones we like, we'll pay you. And we spent about a month driving around the city of Toronto after work on the weekends, picking up these, going to these houses, And, I was behaving like, the guy at Anarkali. He's just like, I'll give you $5 for this. Then, this one, okay, I'll give you 20 for this, 5.
Bargain hunter.
Yeah, exactly. Came back home to our little one-bedroom apartment, maybe 900 square feet that we had. Went to Walmart, bought these racks, got a steam dryer, did everything else, bought these little tags, pricing, put some agarbatti on, and then set up an event on Facebook. And all of Alina's friends, when she was validating the idea, she's like, oh, we would love this idea. I would love to buy something from here. Oh, maybe it's worn once. It's fine, but it's not something I've worn, so totally cool. And we had all sizes and everything like that. Nobody came. We set up a showroom in our house, in our apartment. We set up the invites. All the friends that said they would be interested, nobody came. So,
that's what it happened.
My mom got so interested too. My mom has a bit of a design experience in fashion as well. So she sent a few pieces too. And with sadness, one day I brought it back to her. I'm like, nahi bike. Nothing sold. So maybe that's why another reason I haven't looked at fashion again. I just had a very bad experience from that. But now that you're talking about, I'm getting a bit excited about. Especially when you're doing it the way you're doing it in a very integrated way.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're thinking of the whole cycle more so than we were, or a general person. Like one of your incubees probably are not even thinking about the steps that you've already done in your other businesses, right?
And that's the idea behind #8, because I have the infrastructure ready.
Yeah.
Like if somebody else, or if you start a #8, you have to create the entire infrastructure, which will take you years to build.
And
maybe
this
an year.
includes the e-com piece and
it does everything. So everything is just plug in. You just have to plug and play. Like everything is built
you basically
already.
come with your designs.
Yeah.
That's
come
like
with
the
a
main
design
thing.
or a brand idea or a product which is there, and then just plug into the existing infrastructure, and then you just scale it up.
Right.
See, before that, you have to understand the fashion industry, unlike many other industry, has the pain points.
Yeah.
What is the killer for that industry?
Yeah.
I came from like one of my moment when I started distribution. I was in textiles. Huge barriers, like huge inventory, huge receivables. We were doing a case study where it was on cash flows, and then you have the best businesses who have a negative cash flow. Means you have your customers' money in hand, and then you pay to your suppliers. Like Apple has minus 14 days cash flows. Mine was plus 227 days. The day I buy my goods and day I recover that money from the supplier, from my customer, is 227. So almost 3/4 of a year, my money is invested in that product. And with that kind of cash flow, you cannot grow a business.
Yeah.
So then
it's not like a restaurant, right? Like you get paid for the meal right
immediately.
Away. Yeah.
So that is how do I cure this? I said, okay, the problem is the inventory. Problem is the credit. Problem is the expenses you do in creating catalogs, building brands, stitching and everything. So that's how the distribution started when I was doing my Howard. I said, if I remove all these pain points, I have a good business where I just sell a brand. I don't have inventory risk. I don't have receivable list because I have a brand. People will pay me. Otherwise, I will not sell. They will not get anywhere else. And I don't have to create everything from the sketch. Let the people who wants to do that business, do it. I'll just take it. I know the Middle East market at the back of my hand.
Yeah.
I will take care of the Middle East market, which they don't have access to, which I have access to. So that's how the distribution, the showroom started in 2015, curing the problems of my existing business. So it came from that need of how do I solve my business problems. At the same time, I added my customer value propositions. They will buy brands for everyone else. What do I add value to the table? I'll bring them the brands which are not easily available to them because they cannot go around and hunt. I will curate the brands which are fit for this market with this market consumer needs. I'll take care of the entire logistics. I'll bring it to your doorsteps in your warehouse.
You just select it.
And I'll make sure the brands are marketed and known here so that you are able to sell it. If you go and buy any brand from market, you have to do the entire journey yourself. But if there's somebody who and sells you at the same price which you'll buy, right? So why would you not buy from local distributor? Because I'm taking care of everything.
Right.
My only thing is the hook. You will be hooked to me because you will be only buying from me day in and day out. And if I have one, I will bring more. So today we have 50 brands. We are selling to all the distributors because we solve their value proposition.
Yeah.
The same thing when we do a private label. When I said when the brand comes to me, oh, I can do only 5 pieces, because I know if she goes to any factory or he goes to any factory or brand, they say, oh, minimum MOQ is 300 pieces.
Yeah.
And if you start in a journey and then you produce 300 pieces and 10 style, you're sitting on 3,000 pieces inventory. And what if the customers don't come? Like what happened with you? But if you have a source, okay, I want to start this, but I can produce only say 20 pieces. I want to test the market. Whether my product sells, my price sells, my customer, I want to just do a small.
Yeah. Like even if I sell 5 other 20, then that's validation. And then we go to the next level.
So it's a very small investment. You can turn around. In the maximum, you will lose this for your adventure.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's the infrastructure. That's a fashion solutions. That we give the solution to the brand. They sold. Then from 5 became 50. From 50 became 100. And then there was somebody at the back who was not stepping into her territory. You were not selling the same product to anybody.
Yeah.
You're not stepping into her market.
Yeah.
We were just empowering her. Okay, you go and sell.
Yeah.
We take care of your labeling, packing, barcodes and everything. We'll give you a product. You just go and sell because you know your brand. You know where it sells. You do that part. Leave the rest to us.
Because they can do this, but disjointedly with a bunch of different parties who are not integrating or speaking to each other.
One loop doesn't work, your entire chain crumbles. And when you're too small enough to manage the entire loop, because you're not important for everybody in the loop. For logistics, you're not important. For
you're a small
producer,
customer everywhere.
You're small,
fish
you're
everywhere.
small everywhere.
Yeah.
But if you have that thing sorted, you're very strong in your marketing. Because then you have only one thing to look on.
Yeah.
And I have my business. That is my business. So for me, that is a customer. It's one of 20, but still my customer. And you also, we both are happy. Both have the value propositions.
Yeah.
That's how we create the value.
I'm drawing parallels, and correct me if I'm wrong, but to record labels, music record labels, right? You find the artist.
Yeah.
The artist needs to just do the music production.
Yeah.
But the record label comes in and be like, leave the business side to me. You produce the thing that you do, the product, which is a song or the album or anything. CDs, I will get them made. Book you in concerts. I'll get your tour organized.
Yeah.
I'll do your merchandise.
Everything,
I'll do everything.
Have you seen the Spotify movie on Netflix?
No, not yet.
You should see that.
Really?
But that shows the initial ugly side of it, that the studios invested in them and they were taking 70 or 80%. The artists were not getting anything.
Yeah,
this movie is all about how in the future it should change.
Yeah.
And that problem, I already solved it in my business. I will not eye your profits.
Yeah.
I will make sure you profit, because till you don't grow, I will not grow.
Yeah.
What music industry is saying, they are taking still the major profit, except the bigger stars where they don't have negotiation power. But if you're a small artist, you don't make anything. The only thing they say, oh, I give you the platform.
Yeah, exactly.
But
like without us,
but
nothing.
You don't eat your bread with that platform. You need to make money. You need to have that kind of revenue flow to grow your this thing.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, one thing where when people call me, I'm not a businessman. I mean, I feel it because I'm not a traditional. I'm an entrepreneur. I like the title, but I don't do business like usual entrepreneurs. I do lots of things in my business. I don't think everything in my business with lots of emotions.
Yeah.
In fact, the tagline of my group is emotion, creation, and innovation. And that I created 20 years back. Like everything you do, you create with emotions. You sell with emotion because your emotions are attached to your customer selling. When you buy with emotion, because you want to make sure your supplier survives and he makes profits, because you need a continuity in your supply chain.
Yeah.
You do banking, you do with emotion because you build relationship with your banker, then they stand by you. Even though now they have changed, they don't stand by you that much, but then still you build that. And then when you think about that, when dealing with your people, you're dealing with your entire ecosystem with emotions, you build relationships, and then you build, and then you just focus on your core, and then your life becomes easier. Your journey of business becomes easier. People find like, I'm so tense, there are so many things not working. I don't think people have seen me anytime screaming at anyone or anything, in spite of managing more than 100 staff and 5 businesses. Business you do to enjoy your life. If you have to go and scream, you go and fight somewhere, like why you're doing business.
Yeah.
You have a noble venture. You're changing people's life. You're creating employment. Why you have to be so tense about that? Why you can't do it with emotion? Why can't you do it with love and compassion
Versus
and being
conflict
creative
and-
rather than conflict and taking away everything? Oh, why he's making more? Let me make more. No, let him also make. If
Yeah.
I let go of my some percentage of my margin, but I make him value, he will give me 10 times more return over the period
Yeah.
of time, and I'll give me less tension because he'll be my good
Or
customer.
it'll come back some
And
other
a
way.
friend.
Some
It
other
will
door
come
will
other
open
way.
somewhere.
And it create your ecosystem. People know
Yeah.
about you. More people want to do business with you. And one thing, it is more particular in the region. I don't think in many regions, but the customers who are there, they always look at, if I buy from you, and they always tell me, your hand is very light. And they tell me, there is a saying in this Arab world, like, if I buy from you, my goods sell, even though it's not a bad, even though it's a bad design. They used to tell me, means I sell with a light heart to them.
Yeah.
So that way they feel okay with it. And then they used to come back, even though you have a bad design, I will buy from you because it sells.
Yeah.
Because they say, because your heart is clean. When your customer comes and tell you, no, you're not eyeing my profit, you're eyeing my well-being.
Yeah.
And that gives you the satisfaction, not the money. So money for me is a transaction which goes into the bank, which just keeps on rotating. It's never yours.
Yeah.
You just build it. In the end, you will leave some part of it, which you'll never use 100%.
You're just temporarily holding it.
Yeah, temporarily holding it to go or to give somebody. It's just moving thing. It's don't hold it in your hand.
Yeah.
But the satisfaction which you get from all those relationships, and then you see people growing and then they are doing good in life,
Yeah.
that gives you that joy.
Hello, everyone. I want to take a moment to share something that's really, really close to my heart. As you know, this podcast isn't just a series of episodes. It's you and I getting mentored by the wisest of the wisest. Each episode is crafted with care, aiming to bring not just stories, but wisdom and insight into the fascinating and sometimes lonely world of entrepreneurship. This is more than just a podcast. It's a personal mentorship session recorded on camera for all of us to learn and grow together. And this is where you come in. If any episode has resonated with you, your subscription or your vote means the world to me. Every subscription lights a fire inside of me and fuels me to keep delivering content that I wish had existed before I started this podcast 2 years ago. So I humbly ask for your support. Please hit pause now and find that subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you're listening to this. It's a small action for you, but it means everything to me. Thank you for being a part of this community and for your support and for choosing to walk this path with me. Stay curious and stay inspired. Thank you so much. As a 23-year-old, I made my first 100K working at a job because it was sales. And I'm like, okay, if what they're saying is working, then I'm making money.
Yeah.
And I was able to buy my first apartment like before I was 25 because I was doing all the things that I don't want to do now.
Yeah.
Which is
That time it was norm. Like, that's the way it has to be.
Yeah, it was like the Wolf of Wall Street culture,
Yeah.
right? So like our trading floor was exactly like that, but it was the Canadian version, so we weren't throwing midgets around. But it was the same kind of energy, excitement, phones ringing, get the sale, no matter what, charge the margin. And I've had to step away from that and bring back some soul back into the whole thing. And I really respect like stories like yours and Wahaj's and even Alina's. Alina also, not a businesswoman, not a salesperson, but you should hear her talk to customers. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful the way she just goes around problem solving versus trying to take. I get in her ear sometimes, I'm like, maybe we can increase a little bit over here.
No, here there's a caveat. Like, see, I'm not against profits.
Yeah.
I love profits. I make sure I make decent margins. All my businesses have decent margins.
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't mean I don't give value and I keep everything for myself.
Yeah.
You can create a decent margin for yourself, as well as you make sure that your customer also has a decent margin by adding value to your product or to your services.
Mm-hmm.
You don't leave money on the table. You create more value out of it, so that the pie becomes bigger enough for both.
Like
you
it's
to
not
show.
a zero-sum game. It's
not
not
a
either
zero-sum
I win
game.
or you win.
So, but people, what they do is, okay, if I'm giving you more, for a lesser price, I'm making less. So you can do both.
Mm-hmm.
You can still make, you can still give him decent, but how you can add value to your product and services so that he can make more money and you also make decent. I never believe in undercutting. I never believe in, I give you cheaper, then you come and buy. I don't like those kind of customers or deals. I feel they're not judging you by your product or your service. They're judging you only by
the price tag.
Price tag. You're not a price tag. You're not a hooker. It's a service which you bring to the table. It's a product which you have worked on, which you are
Yeah.
passionate about,
Yeah.
and you're making sure that you are also earning out of it. So don't judge me by the cents.
Yeah.
So that takes lots of patience,
Yeah.
perseverance, and believe in yourself and your product.
Yeah.
It doesn't come easy. You cannot just give me a glass which is normal and no, I will sell you for 10 because you sell it for 20. No,
Yeah.
sorry, it cannot be sold more than 3.
Yeah.
But you cannot just say it. But how do I make sure that this glass has that kind of potential that where you can sell 20, I'll make sure you sell that at 20, and I also make money. And the customer who buys from you also realizes it's a value for money.
Yeah.
It has to be a process. It has to be something which you believe in it, and then you create that.
Yeah.
And it comes only by in-depth
Yeah.
passion.
Absolutely. And belief, you touched on that. Like, do you believe you're worth your own value as well?
Exactly.
Or are you faking it? Or are you feeling insecure about your own value as well? Which as new entrepreneurs, we feel all the time, right?
Yeah.
We look up at other people, see, oh, they do so much better than us. They're so much bigger than us. And we need constant reminders that what we're doing to the best of our abilities, at least.
At least, yeah.
At least to the best of our abilities. Comparing to someone else, like even... Bill Gates feels less rich than Bezos some days.
Some days,
even
like we have in the cloud business. So
yeah,
cloud business, we compete with Bill Gates, like Microsoft, Azure, Amazon. And we are a small company. We are a private cloud provider.
Yeah.
But in the product is very technical. Product is GB, RAM based. But again, our way of doing business, I tell the team this thing, like we have to do the business same way I have done other businesses. How do I add value to my customer? No, the product is very tech. Everybody is selling it. We have to be competitive. I said, yeah, you can be competitive pricing, but add layers of value. How you can manage them well. How do you solve their problem?
Yeah.
Their problem is not how much they pay you per GB.
Yeah.
Their problem is much more deeper.
Yeah.
How much people
that's the
they
commodity,
have.
But
that's just a commodity. But there's so many things attached to them that they have. How can you not solve the rest of the problem where they don't care about the GB? Like when you lose weight, if your focus is on weight, you will never lose weight. But if your focus is on fitness, weight becomes secondary.
Yeah.
So that way in any of your business, you don't put focus on this. You put focus on the overall experience, and then the product becomes secondary.
Let's segue into cloud.
Yeah.
So most people would ask, what business do you have being in the cloud business? We've been talking about fashion for the last, hour, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're casually mentioning, we also have a cloud hosting business. And I'll just casually mention also, you not just have one, but it's winning awards left, right, and center. You're competing with Microsoft. What did you have? It says Best Innovative Cloud Service Provider, SME Segment 27, Excellence in Digital Healthcare. So let's talk about diversification and how you arrived, after doing what you've been doing. The importance of diversification. What is the intersection between fabrics, textiles, fashion, and
cloud.
GBs?
Yeah.
GBs and RAMs. What's the connecting line
Nothing
there?
was intentional. I never thought in my mind that I'll go. One idea germinated in my head, but it was not which led to it. When I went to Harvard and they say, if you're not doing a business which is repeatable and scalable, you're not doing business. And that time I was mostly in textiles. I said, no, I'm not doing anything which I came to learn here. And so that was just a thought which just came. I said, no, I'm not doing that business, which is 227 cash flow days. It's not a repeatable, it's not a scalable business. But still I did my Harvard Unit 1. And then within few months' time, somebody just sent a person. He said he into some tech company and he has problem with his company and to go back. Can you help him out or hear him out? What is there? I said, I don't know anything about tech, but I will meet if I can help or connect him to somebody. He came, he was sitting with me, and that time my servers were hacked in my office, in my textile business. And since 1 month, we are not able to make invoices. And my ERP guy said, okay, you change your hardware, we will do, and you will lose 2 months of data. I don't have a backup. I said, that will be shit because I have to take money from the market, my outstanding, and I don't have data. I don't know how much money I have to collect. And I was in deep shit. And
already suffering.
And I just invested.
Flow, the long cash flow.
Yeah,
plus
exactly.
2 months.
Plus 2 months of data gone. So you don't know how much money I have to take from my customers. And we had 2,500 customers. My inventory was like in millions.
Yeah.
And And we just invested in a hardware around 180,000 dirhams 6 months back. So they were hacked and then they were all blocked. So the guy was saying, okay, buy new hardware and we'll upload the system again, and 2 months data you will lose. So another 200,000 spent and data loss. So we were just contemplating, and this guy came. He said, can I talk to this guy? I said, no. I told him, okay, he wants to speak to you. He was into cloud or something. He said, no, our platform is not cloud ready. Nothing will happen. Leave it. He again insisted, can I? So then I called the owner of the company, who was the ERP guy. I said, Shri, please talk to him. And maybe he has some solution. He said, okay, tomorrow send him. I'll talk to him. They met somehow. And within 24 hours, my data was up and running. He put it on cloud. And before I used to have a Windows PC and I have a Mac laptop. My software was not running on Mac. So for rest of the thing, I was doing Mac, and then for ERP, I used to have two desktop, one laptop and one desktop. He showed me my ERP on my iPhone that time. I said, that's a great idea. That's a good business. Not the business, it's a great idea. How do you do it? So on a piece of paper, he just said, actually, we are in a cloud business. You buy an hardware. It's like a rent-a-car company. That's how he explained to me.
Yeah.
It's like a rent-a-car company. You buy cars and then you lease it out. I said, looks good. It looks like a scalable business.
Yeah.
It's very repeatable. It doesn't have a dead stock. Payments will not be due. So I found the flaws in my business, current business. I said, this business will not have. I said, okay, yalla, do it. And that's how I got into that. Only with the way that it has something which can solve my problem.
Yeah.
And plus, it doesn't have the ailments of my current business. I didn't think about the product. I don't know anything. I still don't know about tech business.
Now subscription model going. You have repeat business.
Repeat, scalable.
Sticky business.
Forward-looking business.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that time. But for me, these were the main value propositions for me as a business.
Yeah.
And I started that. It's now 9th year now this year. And
it's crazy.
Yeah, it's good. I still don't understand the technical side of it, but I understand the business side of it.
Yeah.
So irrespective of your business, what you do, or the product or the services, business principles remains the same.
Yeah.
You don't have to understand how do I reset the servers, how the network work, or what kind of licenses to be uploaded. Okay, for that we have team and person who is managing it.
Yeah.
But the business remains the same. So business, again, the principle you do with innovation, you do with emotion, you do with creativity.
Yeah.
And you have a business.
This is why I love doing these podcasts, right? Like no matter who I talk to and what business they're in, there's always those first principles that are underlying that can be taken from one to the next.
Yeah.
Industry to industry, business to business. And it's like that in itself is is it a skill? Like I guess it's a skill.
Yeah.
Coming up with a more than skill, it's philosophy, right? Like it's how you view the business, like how...
No, more than the philosophy, I think it's your mindset. How you're able to think beyond what your mind can think. How you can see the unseen. How can visualize it. If you go with your own, the blinkers on, you will not be able to see it.
Yeah.
And I've seen many people, seasoned businessmen, they always have their blinkers on.
Yeah.
And I've always seen their business growing only in one dimension. What these learning events and meeting people and everything do, it removes your blinkers. It's not that you're running here and there, but it helps you absorb what's happening around in the ecosystem, what's happening around the world, what's happening in your own business, and what different you can do, and how you look at your own business differently.
Yeah.
Once you have blinkers, I had my blinkers on for 20 years. I didn't know anything else except just do trading. Buy goods and sell. Buy goods and sell. Buy goods and sell. Today I look at it different because I removed my blinkers.
That's crazy. Let's talk about, you said 20 years you were doing that. So let's go back more than 20 years. Let's go back all the way 35 back years. You were 19 when you first started. And you also mentioned to me that around the time you didn't have any mentor or coach to guide you. So you had to do a lot of trial and error. And you had to fix all your own mistakes. So what are some mistakes that some of these new entrepreneurs like myself to think about in the early years of business to not make, since you've made them for us on our behalf?
Really,
what are some of the underlying, like especially for someone new into the game, someone inexperienced, what are some of the common things that we can avoid?
I did lots of learnings at my own cost. like till few years before, I didn't had even a mentor. So I learned all my mistakes. I did my mistake. Whatever I used to think in the night, morning used to implement. And then I'll see whether it works or no. And then you change course and all, because there was nobody around to do your discussions or whether it is right or no, which I still don't do in many ways. But now today I have some sounding boards and all, everything. So I think the few things which should learn is, apart from what I have done, it's like you have to be more passionate about what you're doing. You don't just look at the product and how do I sell more and everything. You build businesses, you build an ecosystem, you build with the people and the team. So that's very important. Don't just look at how do I make quick money. If money is your motivating factor, you won't run for long. Today I'm running for 35 years because money has never. Money is I have another saying, money is a very good employee but very bad boss. So if you treat money as an employee and make him work for you, it's fine. The moment you made him a boss and he drives your work ethics and everything, you will be screwed. So that passion is very important. I would say, without philosophically thing, which I learned recently, is manage your cash flows. Manage your cash flows. Focus on your profit and the value adds. It's not only about doing big numbers all the time. It's about how much you are generating wealth or generating value to the business. If you don't focus on your margins, you will not sustain for long, because ups and downs keep happening. Only thing will keep you sustained is if you're building more than what you have been spending. So margins are very important. Which I learned, one thing which I learned recently, which I'm guilty of not adhering to, and because it's a fiscal discipline, which is budgeting. I just learned 2 weeks before that I suck at it. And I'm learning now. So I just focusing only on budgeting. I want to learn. I want to do a course on learning on this, on how to do budgets, which has been a cornerstone for everyone. But I never put up. For me, it was all about what's in my head and do, because who am I going to answer for? I was never answerable to anyone. I know my budgeting was, if I'm doing this, I have this loss gap. I can lose only this. So that's how I used to go in any business or do any step. Oh, I have a stop gap, this much. If I'm not going there, I'm okay. That was my only way of thinking. But with fiscal discipline and all, and today, because there are lots of avenues where there are leakages, everything becomes expensive. Your rents, your marketing spend, your people's cost and everything. So keep an budget on your targets and everything. And most important is focus on your customer, which everybody says it, but I think it is not every time adhered to. For many people, customer is only place where I can make money. No, customer is where how can I solve this problem and add value, which in turn gives me the value.
And you can feel that too, right? What the motives of the business are with any interaction with them. Whether it's physical interaction, digital interaction, you can tell. Like someone told me, this is how you tell if a restaurant really loves its customers or not. Go check their washroom. The state of the washroom of a restaurant will define how much the owners or the managers of the business care about the customers. And there's all these little things that you can do that I love that piece, because some of the things that you're mentioning have been our weak links over the last few years. So budgeting, we've been terrible at that. It's actually one of the projects I'm working on right now, and I've booked a meeting with our accountants to be like, can you teach me? Because we have clean books, but forward-looking ones have always been on napkins for me. I'll sell this much. This is my roughly cost of goods sold. This is roughly my margin, and this is my.
So I was good in accounts all the time.
I
still am. So I know all my accounts. I have good accountant. I have been auditing my books since 1991. And so that way, I had accounting principles and discipline. But now, with the complexities of businesses and this thing, the fiscal discipline has become also very important. I think maybe in my days and everything, where there was not so much, there were only few line items in your balance sheet or in your P&L, which you have to take care of. And you can still manage with an accounting principles or accounting discipline. Today is more about the fiscal discipline, because there are lots more heads.
Can you tell me the difference between fiscal and accounting?
Accounting is how you control your ins and out, incomes and expenses. Budgeting is what you're spending and are you getting enough return, and how you can control, Are your expenses going up and down? Are your sales revenue coming in? Or is it matching it? Or your marketing spend matches your sales? Are you getting enough return on it?
Right.
Your infrastructure cost, how much potential your business have to grow? Are you able to grow? If you're not growing, what are your stopgap? So there are lots of, these are more fiscal and cash flow management.
Yeah, because like, for example, we have, I'm trying to figure this out. Our business grows in increments, in the sense that from client 9 to 14, the overheads kind of stay the same. But from 14 to 20, the overheads take a little bit of bump. So the first 15th or 16th client, we might be a little bit of hit. So then we need to upscale that client level to do that. So are those the kind of things that are part of the fiscal responsibility?
Yeah, that's also for a budget. Like once you reach that threshold of revenue or clients, I have to add this. But by adding this, can I go till 20? What if it goes down to 90? Then what I have to cut down on? So accounting, you will have all those entries and all, but you don't know what is coming out of it.
Yes.
Those numbers scream something at you, but you're not able to see that.
Right.
So I think that was the main difference, which I never understood. I mean, at 55, after doing 35 years, I couldn't make out the difference. But that's what led to me making lots of mistakes and now learning from it. It's never too late.
Were a lot of the mistakes financial mistakes?
Yeah, lots of financial mistakes. Yeah.
Anyone you're willing to share?
I gave money to people which I couldn't recover because I don't know how to recover. Credits. So that was one mistake. I had no control on inventories. I always believe in having a good, decent showroom space. So all my showroom space are very decent and wow. Because I sell luxury and premium products, so I don't want to sell from a dingy just being pound foolish. So it is same like what Dubai does. You build the infrastructure, people will come. So that's how I build my business, being a hardcore Dubai fan. You build the infrastructure. So all my businesses today, all 5 of them, they're built for 10x with the same infrastructure.
Right.
So that's how I do. So that way
versus incrementally, like starting a small shop in Dubai.
So that's a fiscal discipline, which I don't have.
Yeah.
When I went to D3, they opened it in 2014, I was the first one to sign up in D3.
Yeah.
I booked the entire floor, 25,000 square feet. And I didn't know what to do with it. But I was so excited about the project. And then my friend told me, are you crazy? I said, no, I have this idea. I will do this. This will be unique in the world. Nobody can. And I had the idea. I had that vision. And I was so sure it will work.
Yeah.
But no, D3 is nothing. Nobody believed in D3 as a concept. Oh, it's just a broken buildings. Nobody will come. Yeah. But I believed in D3.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, listening to you, you're a good friend or family. I will reduce it, but I will not cancel it.
Yeah.
So from 25 came down to 10.
Okay.
I still kept it. And that's the best decision of my life because that led to so many other business verticals because I was in that community. And I was still the first one. Like I bought the office showroom on a map.
So this D3 location, is that the one that was conceptualized in a hospital room?
No, that was my C Fashion 2007-6.
Yeah, but you're coming up with business ideas in a hospital. Tell us the story. What was happening around the time? You were in the States?
I was in the States. I was doing textile. I was away from my textile business when I said no, that's the only time I left.
Yeah.
And so that business was like nothing much to do. I was sitting there and all. I said, no, what next? And my son was going through treatment. We didn't have much to do because he was in the hospital most of the time. And I was doing nothing and most of the time. And the time difference was there. So I was thinking about concept and everything. How do I diversify? And I was thinking about mother. So no, he cannot do textile. I have to think of something else. So then I thought about the concept of Fashion Galerie because I wanted to go into the garments, the front end of it. Textile was a raw material. I knew I have to go to the front end and to capture that value chain and deal with the customer directly. So what kind of gallery should be? What are the existing things? So that's why I thought about the price point or gallery should have couture, which is you made to order. It should have ready to wear because many people don't have time. They are very last minute buyers. So you should have a ready to wear collection. And also many people will not like what I have made already for them and they want to make something of their own. So I created a concept called teppanyaki couture. And teppanyaki, like you sit in front of the chef table,
Yeah.
he will cook in front of you, put the
Mhm.
sauces, and give you the dress on the dish on the spot.
Mhm.
So I'll do a teppanyaki couture where a lady or the customer comes in. We'll have a fabric collection. We have a designer there.
Mhm.
You don't like what we have, so tell me, what do I cook for you? So you choose the fabric and the color. They will sketch it for you. And we will even had a concept like, by the time you go and do your makeup, in 2 hours, we'll make a dress for you. If it is a simpler one, we didn't guarantee
Yeah.
for everything. If it's a simple few stitches, you want a kaftan or something,
Yeah.
you have a last minute thing, or you have a Hawaiian party and you want a floral dress, you don't know what to wear, or green
Yeah.
theme. You come here, you give the measurement, you choose what is there, you go and do it. In fact, Fashion Galerie had a concept of make beauty also, salon also inside. But then when I came back, I realized they don't give salon and fashion at the same time. Same venue, you have to have two licenses, two different venue. I think nowadays they give, but in those days, no. So I canceled the beauty part. I said, okay, go to anybody, my neighbor.
Yeah.
And then the dress will be sketched. So I created that concept of Fashion Gallery.
Yeah.
And then I applied. So I had my people there. We took the villa. And 2007, 6, when I came back, I started Fashion Gallery when I came back from US. And then we did the opening. But the concept and everything was done while I was away. And
were you the first one to do this, like teppanyaki couture?
Yeah, I think I was the first
What year was this?
2006.
Unthinkable. I don't.
Yeah.
2006. I was still sucking my thumb, but I don't think anyone was doing this.
Yeah, 2006, we changed the industry prices. I was new in the market, but I told you 6,000 dirham ready to wear dress.
Yeah.
Very reasonably priced. 20,000 wedding dress, which used to be 100,000. We brought down the prices, and the locals and all they used to come and tell me like, we love your prices. And we were on the Jumeirah opposite now Four Seasons. It was I converted the villa, which was a residential, into a commercial, which was also the one of the first one there in those days. When those days, the Baladia municipality decided to convert the front end villas into commercial.
Yeah.
So there were houses before, and I was one of the first ones to identify that, and that's how we did it, and that's how the Fashion Gallery was formed.
Yeah.
And then in 2015, I moved to D3 because the canal was being built, and then my villa was next to the canal.
Oh, what luck.
Yeah. So instead of getting disappointed, I was very happy.
Yeah.
I lost 4 million dirhams because my interior, decor, key money, whatever was there.
Don't they compensate you for that?
Nothing. I was not the owner. I was a tenant. And my landlord wanted to increase the rent. So I showed him one of the fingers. I said, okay, thank you very much. Keep it with you. Increase your... This is still lying vacant with my interiors till now. 10 years later. I passed by that because the bridge there. On the canal.
So the villa survived?
Villa survived because his was saved. Because there were 5 villas. Next to it, 3 were demolished. These 2 survived.
Yeah.
Villa, till 10 years, nobody has taken it. At that time, I thanked him and thanked myself. Oh, that was a blessing in disguise.
See, the fate has a way of doing these things.
Yeah.
Right?
But I could have been disappointed and do anything or whatever. But I looked at a positive side to it. And then I moved to D3, and then I saw there's a whole new world out there and which I can explore.
Yeah. It's quite a lively place, right? Like nobody would have imagined
Imagine that.
You're on between 3 highways of downtown and like that. It's on the side. There's nothing connecting to it.
No, initial 3 years, nobody knew where is D3.
Yeah.
Now it has become, because they did lots of marketing and events and everything. Now it has become the place.
Yeah.
It's buzzing now. But imagine first 3-4 years, it was...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I found out about it because I was in the tech business, and even the tech design community was attracted towards D3 as well. Oh man, dude, you have such a journey. There's so many places to keep going, and I think I'll keep you here for the whole day. I'm just doing a quick time check. So we have about 15 or so minutes.
Okay.
I want to read a quote. It's not by you. Okay. I keep quoting you, but I want to quote somebody else. I'll read it out. And we'll discuss this. So most of us are addicted to the problems and conditions of our lives that produce stress. No matter where we are, in a bad job, bad relationship, we hold our troubles close to us because they reinforce who we are as somebody. This is from Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, Dr. Joe Dispenza. I think you and Dhiren will talk about him forever. He's a big fan as well.
Big fan.
I think you went to see him a few months ago as well in the States. But I'm just wondering, you've marked this as one of your favorite books. At what stage of your life did you discover this book? And what has it done for you? And I ask that because I feel like, when you say when the student is ready, the master appears.
Yeah.
Books have done that to me. There are some books that have changed other people's life. I read them and I'm like, what bakwas?
Yeah.
And then I give them something like, this one changed mine. They're like, what bakwas?
Yeah.
So I feel
Exactly.
like I want to find out like where this book found you, and what it's done for you. Where were you? What stage of life were you in?
I found this book during my, I would say, liberation journey, which I
Liberation
spoke about
journey.
when I was turning 50.
Mm.
And I was thinking at like, no, I have done, I call it liberation journey. Many people around me, my social group calls it midlife crisis. So it's the same term, but how you look at it. I say there is no crisis.
Yeah.
I'm into my midlife if I live for 70, 80 years, but I don't see any crisis. It's only thing is, how do you look at your life? And then when I was almost to turn 50, and then I said, that's why I created a hashtag that time, self-love is not selfish. And I decided to separate from my wife of 25 years. It was big step, means for me to on self-discovery, nothing against anyone. And as I said, I didn't want it to die a sad man or to have any regret that if I had opportunity, because God will blame me. I gave you the brain, I gave you the life. It's up to you how you live it. So during that journey, and when I saw people who were closest to me and I was spending most of my time with, they just discarded me like as if I am a outcast or a criminal. And I was left all alone with myself. And so many times I question whether it is me, am I doing something wrong? Is it something criminal? Is self-love is not allowed, or you're just supposed to live for everyone else, and the moment you think about yourself, it may be painful for someone. Is it wrong? And then I was questioning all those things, and that time I found this book. And so many of the life's concept, I have also saying like life and your relationships are like a crockery. That is my saying. I used to say many years before. We always think they are all breakable, unbreakable, because we keep them closest to the heart. You can only test when you throw it on the ground. And when you throw it to the ground, if they are unbreakable, you can lift them back again and then know it is unbreakable. It was unbreakable crockery. But when you throw it and it shatters, it means you are living in that illusion. It is unbreakable, but you are still keeping it closer to the heart. You are not letting it go. And so all those concepts became very clear. Not clear, they are still under process, but you learn a lot. When you experience life in a totally different viewpoint, you start questioning your own choices. You start questioning your own being. You start questioning of what your value systems are, what your professional life is, what your future going to be, whom to trust, whom not to trust, whom to bring close, whom not to bring close. And whether all this grief which is coming to you, is it of your own doing, or is it because you did not do anything? That's why the grief is coming to you. It could be any other way. It's not that every time you do something and the bad things happen to you. Sometimes you don't do anything and still bad things happen to you. But we always try to blame it on something or the other. But in the end, it is your journey. Take whatever way it comes to you. And then how do you convert that journey and each and everything which is coming to you as a life lesson and make it into a positive? Like what they say, no, when life throws lemon at you, you make a lemonade out of it. People say it all the time, but it's very difficult when you get those lemons, when you're down in the dumps, when you're drowning in the sea. You don't want lemon. You want somebody to hold your hand. You don't make lemonade there. But if you are in a right frame of mind, then you hold on to the smallest of straws and then try to swim and then float on the water. So that's what I did. The one thing I didn't want it to lose is my genuineness and my honesty. And I said, this is my time to stay honest to myself and do what I believe in. Instead of going with the flow, what people are saying or what society expects you to do, or what the normal norms of the society are. If you stay to yourself, then you will have the better test what you did, what you're thinking is right or no. Because in the end, if you are a bad man, you're a bad man. If you are a good, you're a good. But you have to be genuine and honest with yourself. You could be either way for anyone. It's everybody's perception. But one thing you have to remember is when you look at your mirror, are you ashamed of that face? Or you feel, no, I'm okay. So that was my journey in last 4-5 years. But yeah, I survived. I'm here and alive and kicking. And I try to be as genuine, as honest with everybody around and with myself. And I think that pays. It's a difficult journey, but it pays.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I feel like there's a certain price to pay if we live in this ever-connected society for being genuine, a bit too genuine.
Huge price.
And it comes at expenses of we're always kind of careful to our own detriment sometimes, or at least I'm speaking for myself. The inability to be firstly self-love and then to fully be yourself, because there's consequences. And it's not a good place to be, because
we live with the perception. We live what society will say, what friends will say, and everything. And that was a fear which I stayed in the marriage for so many years. That what will people say? How will I cope up? I cannot be like this. But in the end, I realized nobody cares. They'll care till it is a headline. Once a headline goes to the second page, nobody cares. And you live your life based on that.
Yeah,
it's a difficult choice. I'm not saying it easy. I will not recommend to anyone. But if you have, I'm such a positive and a family and relationship based person and a loving person. I think wherever I get even 1% of a choice or 1% of a chance to rebuild, I'm that person. I will build the 99%. But I give up when there is a 0%, and I take a lot of time to come to 1%. I do lots of due diligence. I'll do lots of tests and think to come to that 1%. I just don't bring anybody to 1%. So that way I was left with no other choice. Because I said, there is nothing. I have to do it. But otherwise, I recommend everyone to
the thing is,
be
with
genuine.
Being genuine, the best part that I like about it is that having been told my entire life that you should be less of yourself sometimes. But my argument's always like, if it's pissing someone off, then it's their fucking problem. And then maybe I'll attract people that are like me. Like if they can just see through my verbal or behavioral things and just look at me inside, they're already attracted to me. And they take me as a whole package. This thing comes as soft and mushy inside, when the outside is a bit rough.
Exactly.
If you brush past him, like, you get a cut and a rash. But generally the ailment is also within this person. So maybe I won't be the most popular person. Maybe I'm the most loved person by the most quantity of people.
You cannot be. Can never be, because there's always be perceptions. Everybody looks at with their own lenses. With their own glasses on. You cannot please everyone.
Cannot.
And you should not, because it's impossible.
Only
way to live is to be genuine. Be who you are. I think at the end of the day, we spend maximum number of time with ourselves. And if you're okay with that, I think then you're okay. You may be a worse person for anyone, but if you're okay with that worse person, which are you, it's good. It's okay. You don't have to change.
I was recently in an argument as well, and my end thing was that you're not going to like me 100%. You will not. I'm not asking you to. Nobody will. Can we just talk about the substance? I'm like, now this is becoming about how you feel about me. Forget that. Let's just talk about the deal, because it's true. I probably will not be liked 100% of the time, even by the people that love me the most.
Exactly.
Right? Even they will find faults in me. But what I wanted to change the most, and the thing I'm working on most, is when I used to come back from parties, I used to have this thing, should I have said that? Oh, I think I said too much, or I said too little. I should. Right now I'm working on the process of coming back home and not thinking about what I said.
Yeah.
I was myself.
Yeah.
Whatever was myself, my true genuine self came out.
Yeah.
Will it come out again? Who knows? Who cares?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's not calculated, right? How much mental capacity, you're talking about cloud power,
Yeah.
your GBs you
GBs,
use
yeah, exactly.
to restrict yourself
Yeah.
from behaving the way that you just
You
want
just
to.
want to. And that's a huge baggage to carry.
It is, and gets.
But that's not you.
You
You
feel
are
it
carrying.
here on the
Yeah.
left side, technically.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm glad. It sounds bad, but I'm glad you went through that, because I feel like you're finding yourself again.
Yeah, it was a good journey.
Yeah.
I don't regret it. For me, like COVID, whatever bad thing done for everybody in the world, it did the best thing for me.
Mm.
It happened at the right time. I was just separated few months before, and COVID hit, and I was everybody was cut off. And for me,
Yeah.
it was a good time to be with yourself and introspect and understand and ask questions, and then come out of it, and then again go back into deep throes of sadness, and again come out of it, because there was nobody. You were with yourself. So I think that happened, and then yeah, once my only bottom line is I have to be genuine with myself. I have to be honest. The situation should not define you. You should define who you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you stick to that, it may take more time. It may take longer time. It may not convince many people, but at least you are living with yourself.
Yeah.
And if you're okay with the face, what you see in the mirror every day, it's okay.
I'm sorry if I'm continuing on this direction, and if you're not comfortable, that's fine too, but just let me know. But I have heard of you as a guy who, if you're a good friend of mine, if I call you at 2 a.m.,
Yeah.
you'd stop whatever you're doing, get off your bed, and you'll drive and see anyone. And that's really admirable. But at the same time, you say around these kind of times, you had no one
Yeah.
driving up to you at 2 a.m. Does that make you question, like, why am I doing so much when no one else is doing that much?
No, that initially it hurt me a lot. Means I lived all my life, so I would say I have thousands of friends. I used to party with them 5 days a week.
Mm.
And when initially it used to hurt me a lot, like like there's a Hindi movie, My Name is Khan, but I'm not a terrorist. So I used to ring that. I said, I'm not a terrorist. I'm not a criminal.
Yeah.
I just want to get my life, and I'm still taking care of everything. I'm not run away from anywhere. I'm facing my responsibility. I'm facing all my challenges. I'm here.
Mm.
I've not killed anyone, or I'm not cheated anyone. But initially it used to hurt, but very soon I realized it was blessing. You let go of all the people and those relationships which you thought they were unbreakable and they are closest to you. And when you let it go, they are all breakable. They didn't exist. And then it was such a relief. And during COVID and life after me, it has totally transformed thanks to those same so-called friends, because you're not around me. So my time is with me, and a time with people whom I really care about or who care about me. The people who joined me after that are only those people who really care about me for who I am. I may be the worst person, but they're still with me. Means they like what I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to build on that. And I'm with people whom I can be genuine with and open with.
Yeah.
And I don't have to fake anything. If I don't want to hang out with them, I'll tell them, today I cannot. At the same time, you get lots of time to spend with yourself and work on yourself. So your health journey, before you used to have drinks every day, shishas, sleeping at 3 a.m. and then morning again go to work. Now, no. My lifestyle changed. I used to be sleeping at 3 or 4 a.m. And then the time came when I used to wake up at 4 a.m. to go for my cycling.
Mm.
So that transformation happened thanks to those friends for not being there.
Mm-hmm.
So I always look at the positive side of it.
Yeah.
And I used to think like, you have to be cordial and you have to be everyone, which is true. But you don't need so many friends and so-called relationships around you to make your life happier.
Mm-hmm.
You need a handful of good, genuine people around you. And I think that's enough. You don't get enough time in your life away from all your responsibility to spend time with them. Then why do you need to have more where you cannot do justice to them? And why you want to have, like what my friend says, you have inner circle, then you have outer circle and a third circle.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have time for the third circle. So
Yeah.
why do you want to carry a crowd of people who know you?
Yeah.
You're good with your first and second circle.
Exactly.
But sometimes you have third, they are always there.
Yeah.
In Dubai, it's very easy. You throw a party, third circle, fourth circle comes in hundreds.
It's in fact too easy.
Too easy. Yeah.
It's a bit overwhelming.
A bit overwhelming. Yeah. So for me, it was a blessing.
Yeah.
And how you look at it, again, it has to come from your state of mind. If you are a positive and a optimistic person, if you think in a negative way.
I read somewhere on Twitter, can't remember who, but someone who said that, I hope you have, your biggest disappointments early on in life. And that was said with a very positive thing, because there is such an opportunity for growth in these times. It reminds me of I'm sorry, my audience, if I bring this up again, the story of the lobster. So the lobster's shell is static. It doesn't grow. It's hard shell. But the inside of a lobster is always growing. So there comes points in times where the lobster has to shed its old shell in order to grow a new one. But when it sheds its shell, now it is susceptible to predators in the ocean. It can be easily eaten. It's not safe. This lobster has to go down to the depths in the darkest parts of the ocean, hide, be vulnerable, be scared, be shit scared out of their life while they're waiting for the new shell to grow and become strong and get back up again. And that time period is where the lobster is alone by itself, looking out, scared, and waiting for the new shell to grow. But at the end of it, you have a new, strong, brand new shell.
So I have lived the life of a lobster in the last 5 years.
It's wonderful, man. It's wonderful to see you in this positive frame of mind, and good reminder not to call it midlife crisis. I like the liberation.
There's no crisis.
Liberation.
Liberation. It's a celebration. Midlife celebrations.
Oh man, we are approaching our 2-hour mark, and I'm just checking to see if there's any final thing that we can cover, but they're all a bit, let's see, larger stories, because I wanted to talk about how in 2008 the world is going to shit and you're starting 2 showrooms.
2 showrooms,
real estate boom is happening and you're like, what? Real estate?
I didn't pay attention because I was so passionate about my business. I said, I'll use this opportunity to crack. And people say, this guy is going nuts. He's going to go bankrupt and run away from here. Because I opened the 2 biggest showrooms of my life in those times, and people were throwing cars at the airport and leaving.
The time. So I think those stories will come out in round 2 when we get together again and do this, because I think there'll be much more to discuss. But I do want to end off with maybe, let's say I give you, and I ask every guest that's come on to say what they would say. Sorry. I'm fidgeting with the mic, so it's okay. We won't cut this out so the audience knows I'm not perfect. But let's say I give you a billboard. It's on Sheikh Zayed Road. Millions of people passing by every day on their cars, walking, and they get to have one look and see what it says. And it can't be an advertisement. It can be a commercial message. What would you want them to see?
About me?
It's up to you. There's millions of people reading a message a day. What would you want the world to know, to see about you, about a way of thinking, a way of living?
For me, it is be honest, compassionate, and never let a child in you grow up. Keep it as a child.
Stay young.
Stay young and think young. Dress young. It's okay. People make fun of you, but I'm okay with my skin.
Getting old is a trap, isn't it?
Getting older is only the mindset. It's not your age. The way you think, and always be young. I think like young. I always look for new things. And how I can make everybody's life better or my life better, and I can think differently as per the new age. I can keep reinventing, learning new things, meeting new people, learning from them. Never stops. The billboard will be honest, compassionate, and keep the child in you. Stay young.
Love it. I love it so much, because that is actually a goal in life for me. I haven't written it down, but it comes at one small expense, which is my parents never take me seriously because they feel like I haven't matured yet. Because there's the whole personality of Alina and I. We both don't look our age and we don't act our age. And that's a choice. A complete fucking choice. We will not behave, but it comes at a little price. So just keep your parents in check. Tell them you're grown up and everything. Like I joke with my sister. So between my 3 sisters, I have 8 nieces and nephews, and every time I meet them, I'm just playing with them the entire time. And they're like, spend some time with us. I said, no, my mental level is the same as theirs. So I'll be with them.
Okay.
You guys talk real estate and all the boring stuff that you want.
Exactly.
But it's great. I like it. Be honest, be compassionate, keep the child in you alive. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for being honest throughout this interrogation of mine and sharing these stories. I'm sure there's so much in here, especially in terms of giving people the ideas of like how to look at business, not just as a profit-making motive, but to solve people's problems and add the value. There's so much to take from that. And I hope the message gets to people who are in the right place at the right time, and they can lean and add a little bit of the Silk King masala into the Silk King masala into their business. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for helping me out.
I'm glad you came. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah.
Inviting me here. It was a pleasure talking to you, and kind of an opportunity for me to look back and into my own life and talk about it, which I never do. So it was a moment where I really said a few things which I have never said to myself as well. So it was a good session, good time spent.
Well, luckily your house is next door, so we can do this more often. We just turn the cameras on and have these
just
chats.
need to talk.
Thank you so much, man.
Thanks for
coming.
Thank you.